What's going on, Aztec Nation? It's another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast, and we are live from Over the Tap in National City. The Aztecs, well, they got the win, 2 in a row, 27-24 over Wyoming. We're going to get into all of it and more coming up next.
Navigates the pocket, surrounded and grounded. And that's to wrap this one up.
What is going on, Aztec Nation? It's the Sons of Montezuma podcast. Another episode. Hopefully, you guys can hear us all well. We are live, as I mentioned, down here at Over the Tap. I'm here with K5 James. What's going on, James?
What's up, man? It's good to be back. I'm almost fully recovered from the trip to Laramie, so let's rock and roll.
Almost fully recovered.
Almost.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us. The Aztecs pull out the victory, 27-24. You hear me okay, James? You hear me okay? Loud and clear, loud and direct. Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys are hearing me, perfectly clear out there. I don't know if you guys are, because the Aztecs win. The Aztecs win again. 2 in a row, strike, fight. Let's go. Okay.
They hear the echo, dude.
Yeah, that's what I figured was going on. That's what I figured. SDSU. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the echo, guys. Let me see if I can help. If I can help the situation a little bit.
Play a video again and see if you can fix it.
Let's see. How about now? Still the same?
It's a little better, I think. Whatever you're doing.
All right. Well, the show must go on, and we'll try to get this straightened out if there is something going on.
It may be my microphone picking you up, dude.
Well, Fiend says if I have his drive-through headset.
Yeah, such a powerful voice. My microphone's picking it up, dude. So.
I guess.
Mute the iPods.
Well, let's see, guys. Let's see. How about now? Anything better? We'll see.
It sounds better on my end, but
okay. All right, James. Well, we made the trip to Wyoming. We made it back in one piece. The Aztecs got the dub. Very happy about that. Well, we almost didn't make the trip.
Oh, man.
It almost didn't happen, guys. We almost didn't make it to Wyoming. James, do you want to elaborate on this story?
I was going to say, do you want me to tell the story since you're having these technical issues, and you can deal with that while
I'll troubleshoot while you tell the story.
While I wax poetic on our adventure we had. So myself and Dan, we showed up at the airport, and also Eli. We got there about 2 hours before the plane was scheduled to take off. We decided, hey, let's get this party started. Let's hit the bar. And of course, Mateo was always on Mateo time. So we showed up about 45 minutes before the plane was going to take off. So he was trying to rush and join the party as well. And everybody's having a great time. We're like, hey, they're getting ready to, we saw the people getting ready to board the flight, and we were in the third boarding zone. So we're like, okay, we're good. Let's finish up these drinks. Let's close out. We'll be good to go. And lo and behold, we turn around and we notice Eli's gone. And we were asking, did he go to the restroom or something? And he might be going to get in line. That's fine. So finally we close out our check, and Mateo, Dan, and myself walked up to the boarding gate, and the lady tells us, no, the door's closed. You can't go in. While we're looking at the wide open door, and we're, wait, what do you mean the plane doesn't take off for another 20 minutes? What's going on? Well, apparently we were 1 minute too late to the boarding gate, and Frontier Airlines, don't ever fly Frontier Airlines. I cannot say any worse about that. We were a minute late, and the doors were still open. We texted Eli, hey man, is the cabin door open? He said, yeah, the cabin door's still open. So we're like, hey, you can't let us in, and right away. I don't know if you want to see if your connection's a little better. See if you can.
How about now, guys? Anything better? No.
Oh yeah, that sounds better to me.
I don't know about you guys at home. If you guys can hear it, okay?
Yeah, it sounds good, dude. That's it. Yeah.
No, I'm mid. I'm mid today. Dang.
I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want to relay what the young lady said to you.
That sounds beautiful.
Well, we got to the gate, and pretty much she looked at me and she said, "Sir, can you step back from me?" You know, I'm thinking like, okay, this isn't a younger age, female. I'm thinking like we put on some charm, like try to smooth our way, open the door. I mean, they barely closed the door right before I got there, and she was not having it. So what can you do, guys? I freaked out in that moment. I looked at Dan and James, and I was like, we're not on that plane. We're not getting on. And they're like, try to talk to her. And I was like, I've seen this on social media way too many times. People freaking out at the airport. You just closed the door. The plane's still there. I was like, I'm not going to be on Twitter right now freaking around and getting escorted out of the airport in handcuffs. So we just walked across to Southwest. The other gate had to drop another
good chunk of money
to get to Laramie. And we made it happen. So we got there. It was worth it at the end because, those memories, hey, we'll come out of the pocket every time and make it happen. And I'm glad we did. James.
Yeah, shout out to Southwest, first of all, for finding us 3 seats on that. Luckily, we had been speaking at the bar with another couple, and they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to Denver, too, but we're going to be, like an hour after you guys or something like that. And luckily, Dan remembered that. And so he went and found them and was like, what flight are you on? And he was the hero of the day. He came through, and he used his, when he's dealing with people, he's a different kind of Dan. He's more of the sociable Dan. And he smooth talked the Southwest gatekeeper, and they got us on another flight, thank goodness, and we made it, and after that, everything was pretty much smooth sailing.
Yeah, smooth like Manscaped. Of course, you guys see him wearing the shirt. So anyways, I'm just glad we got there in one piece, and we had a great time, guys. Let's talk a little bit of that before we get into the X's and O's and all the strategy and what happened in the game, man. Wyoming, this was maybe the last chance that Aztecs football was ever going to play in Laramie, to be honest. I mean, we're leaving for the Pac-12. That was a point of conversation with some of their fans out there, of course, right? And I wanted to make sure we didn't miss this, man. And I was impressed. Wyoming, Laramie, the weather was phenomenal. Early October. Just a little bit just to say about it, guys. Like they have a really nice campus out there for what it is for Laramie, right? I mean, it's the only school in the whole state. And I almost felt bad, like we're leaving them in the dust in the Mountain West. Their people came out. They were super friendly. I think James only had one incident in Laramie, right? I mean, it's cowboy nation out there, right?
What do you mean? Were you trying to assault me that one night? No. No, I didn't have any incidents, man. It was a good time. Everybody was pretty chill. Everybody was super friendly. I think Mateo and I only got asked what we were doing out of the kitchen like twice the whole time we were there. So, I mean, I was definitely impressed. It was much more civilized than I thought it was going to be. So it was a great time.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on and on. I did upload a new video. If you guys have been checking out our YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button first and foremost. We have a series of videos, James, where the tailgate always wins, and it's always the pregame tailgate, some sights and sounds to the actual game. And if we make a roadie, I'd try to make those as well. So we just uploaded that one for Laramie. You guys go check that out. You guys can see from our bird's eye view and a little bit of the trouble we got ourselves into on the streets of Laramie. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, so Josh, what's going on, Josh? Good to see you. He said, what's the next road trip? UNLV? For me, absolutely. UNLV is going to be the next road trip. I'm glad we got this Laramie one out of the way and we got a win. But UNLV will be the next one. Right, James? Right?
Yeah, I think I've already got a room and everything. I don't remember if I booked my flight yet, but I think I'm already set up pretty much for it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to making that one. And it's always great when you come home from a roadie with a win. You haven't done that too many times, so it's very nice to come home with a roadie.
Yeah.
A road W. So that was always great.
We always make our presence known in Vegas, and Laramie was no different. We went to the, what was it, the Buckhorn? Buckhorn, is that what it's called?
We went to the Buckhorn.
The Buckhorn, as you can see right here, the Buckhorn with their taxidermy heads, their Wyoming license plate, and we made sure to leave our mark there at the Buckhorn. Sons of Montezuma. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyways, a great time, everybody. Thank you guys for keeping in contact with us while we were out there. Okay, guys, let's get into this game because it's 2 in a row. 2 in a row. The Aztecs are 2-0 in the Mountain West Conference. But how excited are we? How excited are we getting? I mean, for me, it was a big win, man. I thought they really proved themselves in a lot of areas. I wrote an article earlier this morning, and I put it out there. You know, the game had a little bit of everything right. 27-24. They proved themselves in certain areas. They showed their moxie. They showed their toughness. As coach has been saying. But then there were still some bugaboos, right? I mean, it took some last quarter heroics on both sides of the ball, you know, whether it was Dannyo'neil or was the defensive line under pressure. But a win is a win no matter how you get it. And I'm just glad we came out to win, man. 2-0 in the conference.
Yeah, man, another step closer to a possible bowl game. And a win is a win. And if you would have told me before the season, everybody had kind of different expectations for Wyoming before the season. So if you'd have told me before the season we'd hit this point at 3-3, I'd have been, okay, so we're coming along. That's about where I was hoping we would be. So I'm not totally disappointed. I'm sad and upset that we are this close to being 4-2 at this point. But still, we're in a good spot right now. You know, 2-0 in conference, and that's a big deal. And I think that sets us up when we have the solid possibility, especially if the team continues to improve, the offense especially. I think we have a really good chance to make a run at a bowl game, and who knows what else, man. I think the offense is really developing. Dannyo'neil is turning into a stud quarterback in front of our eyes. I like we've been saying, I think we said it last week, it's time to take the training wheels off of him, man. Just cut him loose, throw the ball like 30, 40 times a game. I'm ready for that because he is just so efficient with the ball. He just doesn't make mistakes. He finally threw his first interception, and it wasn't even really his bad. He got hit as he was throwing it, and it happened to go right to a defensive player. So, yeah, I think there was a lot to take from it. You know, the defense continued to play well. They just had a few mental lapses. But I was impressed. All 3 phases of the game played well. You know, Pastula had a hell of a game, pinning Wyoming back to kind of give them a long field to drive. So I think all 3 phases of the game showed good signs, things that they can build on. So I'm really looking forward to. It's nice to have a little bye week so they can kind of go over it, and hopefully homecoming, man, we can come out and rock and roll against a solid Washington State team.
Yeah, I mean, it puts us in position for all of that, right? Now you're starting to think, okay, bowl game is a possibility. You know, you start lining up the rest of the season. I mean, we're at the halfway point, guys. And, you know, obviously it didn't start off as hot as we would have liked, but you're starting to see that progression, like what you're saying, James, with Dannyo'neil, the improvement, the pocket presence, a lot of different things that he's bringing to the game. You're starting to feel a little bit more positivity about the offense. Now, they did have their struggles in this game. Let's not put any, you know, sugar in the gas tank, right? Because that wouldn't work very well. You need some gas if you want to go fast, man. So can't be too sweet. You know, they had their hiccups. The running game has not been exactly what I know Coach Lewis wants it to be. I know what anybody wants it to be, but the fact that Coach was dedicated to it, you know, you could take that. I think good and bad in some ways, depending on what side of the line you sit on. But now you're starting to think about those possibilities. Okay, what if we continue to go streaking, right? That was the name of the thumbnail we put here on this recording. Is like, okay, can you string a couple wins together now? You got this week off coming up. Prepare for Washington State at a conference team, so it doesn't count against you if you lose. But you're never going to go in with that mindset, right? So starting to feel a little better than this rough start. Let's look at a couple of these highlights, man. Let's look at a couple of these highlights because there were some big plays in this game. It was an exciting game. Pick six. It could have been the second pick six, but big shout out to Eric Butler. I know his pops was very excited to see that happen. We got to check him out, Mr. Senior out there in Laramie. That was a big statement because you pick a guy off once and almost take it to the house, and then almost instantaneously you do it and you actually get it in the end zone. Like that defense, we've said it before, man. They give this team a puncher's chance every time. And if I'm not mistaken, Eric Butler, he got what was it, a PFF, like the highest graded safety? Is that?
Yeah, highest graded safety on PFF. So that's a big deal, man. Nationwide, he was the highest graded safety. And just the defense, man, they're very opportunistic. And I can't remember which game it was, but I was kind of complaining that they weren't getting enough turnovers. And man, it was like a switch was flipped, and they're a turnover machine now. Not only turnovers, but defensive touchdowns. And man, they're exciting to watch. You know, it's a lot of people don't like watching defense because it's not your team trying to score the ball, but they're so exciting to watch because the pressure they put and the way the defensive backs attack the football. It's enjoyable to watch them play defense. So I'm super pumped. I'm pleased with, before the season we were all kind of worried, hey, what's this defense going to look like? What's going to be, how's this new system going to be? But I'm pleased with what I've seen so far. Obviously there's a ton of room for improvement, but I think there's some exciting times ahead for us.
And credit to the defense. If we can kind of stay on that side of the ball right now, the linebackers were out, both starters were out. So when you got veteran guys like Cody Moon coming up and playing big, and Kyle Moretti playing big in those spots, they held it down. The defense plays aggressive, man. Especially the corners, the safeties, like what you're saying, James, with Butler. They play very aggressive. And, the one way to kind of beat that aggressiveness is to run a flea flicker, right? I already saw it in the chat. It was like one of the first things in the chat. People were saying, we got to run a flea flicker. We got to do it. And, we got burned. And they tried it twice. They tried it twice, man.
Yeah, I think they saw the film of, I forget which game it was, where somebody tried to run a flea flicker against us. And the only reason it didn't work is the guy dropped the ball. So I think they kind of saw that on film, like a tendency on film. And, they got us, but hopefully that's something coaches can show them on film. Now, look, like last time you guys got away with it, this is what happens when you guys don't stick to your discipline. And that's something that's going to pay off, especially at the end of the season when we play Air Force, because it's the same thing, but every single play in the running game. So, yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, and hopefully they get that squared away in this bye week and we'll move forward.
Yeah, I think Central Michigan tried it too, and they probably would have had a touchdown. I think the receiver dropped it in that game, if I recall correctly. But hey, that comes with the territory. We knew they were going to try it again. I think Dan was yelling out, "Watch, they're going to go deep on us. Watch, they're going to go. Yeah, they're going to try it."
Negative Nancy Dan always, man. I think no. He called a great play for San Diego State. He kind of predicted a big pass, and it came to pass. But he wasn't too bad. I think because he was feeling good, he wasn't in too much of a Debbie Downer mood this time. He was having a great time on the trip, so he wasn't his normal Dan self watching the game.
Oh man, too much in this game. Too much in this game. We were up there in the corner watching. We had a great seat, so we could see everything unfold. I knew that was gonna be a touchdown once the running back passed it back to Svoboda. I was like, oh man, he's gone. Touchdown. Okay. Anything else on the defense you want to talk about, James? Anything else?
You know what? Just the way the pass rush. Not just Trey White, but Ryan Henderson. I think he had 2 sacks. The whole defense, they just generate a pass rush, and it's so fun to watch. So, you got Trey White, obviously, is the big star, but everybody else, like, man, they really were good at applying pressure, and it wasn't like exotic blitzes like we're used to out of 3-3-5. So I enjoy watching that, man. I like seeing the pressure get put on, just guys beating the guy in front of them. So it's so, like I said earlier, it's such a joy to watch this defense play football.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about this game. But before we do, I forgot yesterday, Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. Got our Aztec warrior, me and Carlos there. Can't forget about that guy.
The memory.
Now, did you know, James? And I got to admit, I got some tips helped out to me from Mr. Ken Abels, son of Tom Abels. He says in 2016, SDSU beat Wyoming 27-24. The Wyoming quarterback, number 17, made a tackle to prevent a pick six, and the Wyoming quarterback was sacked on the final play. But he was punched in the nuts. This year, we did every single one of those things exactly to a T, but there was no punching in the nuts. We got a long way to go, James. We got to get that toughness back, man. What's going on?
No infamous Noble Hall nut punch, man. Josh Allen's still feeling that today.
Only a Rocky D, man. Only a Rocky D. As we mentioned, of course, Eric Butler, the highest graded safety for Week 7, according to PFF. Very cool. Got to go through the accolades. Got to guys show some love, right? Got to show some love. Of course, you already mentioned Trey White. He's got, what is he up to? He said 2 more sacks, so he's up at 11 or something like that. He's at 11. He's at 11. I saw Mr. Schaefer tweet out there. He's number 7 on a season list in a season, right? And he's only in 6 games right now. So 11 sacks for Trey White, which is unbelievable. Right behind Cam Thomas. In 2021, you remember how dominant Cam Thomas was. He had 11.5 that year. He's already at 11, Trey White is. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, he's got an outside shot at getting that record. Sacks that kind of come in bunches, so you can't kind of project it over the season. But, I mean, with the pace he's been on the last 3 or 4 games, I'm not saying he can't do it, but he's got an outside shot at the all-time record at San Diego State for a season.
Now let's look at this list, though, because you got Cam Thomas at 6 with 11.5, like I said. Then you got KGB, Kabir, Biamila at 12. Andy Covello. Is that how you say his name? Covello? 12.5 and 91. 91. I got to go back and look at that because that was Marshall's first year. I don't remember that. I was a little guy, but, Then in 87, Brett Ferriniares, 13. Now get this, in 76, 21 sacks in a season, Mike Douglas. That's with 2 S's, Douglas.
That's that Claude Gilbert defense back in the day, man. They were some monsters. So, yeah, man, it's very exciting. Like I said, this defense, to me, I normally enjoy watching the offense a little more just because, I used to coach offensive line. I played running back. I like to watch the running game and things like that, but this defense has been such a joy to watch. Normally, when the defense is on the field, I can run, get a bathroom break or get a beer real quick. But no, not with this team, man. It's fun to watch these guys play. They get out there, they make stuff happen. And I guess that's kind of the bad that comes with the good is they're susceptible to things like that flea flicker. But hey, I'll take it, man. If they do something like that once a game, but the rest of the game they do what they do, as long as we win, I'm good with that.
Man, hey, shout out to Jesse down here at Over the Tap. He's feeding me spoon feeding me some information. Of course, Trey White is top of the list in the nation right now, number one. So those 11 sacks is 2 more than Izaraku from Boston College. He's got 9. But this is with 1 less game, I'm assuming, right? 1 less game. That is crazy. That is just absolutely crazy. So, anyways, plenty more for him to shoot for this season, and we're only halfway there. So, absolutely amazing. I love a good comment, Josh. What do you say, Josh Allen? Josh Allen stays getting owned by the Aztecs. That number 17 continues. He didn't get punched in the nuts this game, so I'm still upset about that. But. Okay, back to the accolades really quick, because for the second straight week, Danny O'Neil, he won Freshman of the Week for the Mountain West, and that's pretty dope, man. I don't think we've had that in a long time.
I want to say he was also a Pro Football Focus top 10 quarterback this week as well.
Oh wow!
I want to say he was like number 7 or something like that. I don't recall the exact number I saw on Twitter earlier, but yeah, he's so efficient, man. There's nothing more you can say about it. You saw in a couple of those deep passes. I know one was kind of underthrown. It was almost like a back shoulder deal, but he was on the run when he threw it. But his other passes where he can set his feet, man, he just puts the ball in a perfect place, like the pass to Napier at the near sideline when we were out there. And then the other deep ball he threw to, I believe it was Lewis Brown on the far sideline. He's just, man, we haven't had a quarterback like this in I don't know how long, man. I can't even remember the last quarterback we had this good. I think people have talked about like Billy Blanton, guys like that. I think that was the last time we had a guy that was maybe even Ryan Loomy wasn't as efficient as Danny O'Neil is. So yeah, it's crazy the kind of production. Hopefully by the end of this year he's going to be a machine, man. Hopefully they'll finally take the training wheels off and let him throw the ball more than 25 times a game and see what happens.
Well, I know in the opening intro we had the highlights going, and you saw that first pass to Napier where he really stepped up in the pocket and just delivered. It was an amazing catch by Napier. First off, right? I mean, he got it to him. He stepped up in the pocket and Danny was able to get it to him. But just an amazing point where he high pointed the ball. And Coach Lewis was talking about it in his presser how they actually worked with Napier in practice that week. A similar situation where he didn't come down with it, and he had a talk with him, and he says, you're gonna get that next time we have that in an opportunity. And sure enough, he came down with it. Incredible catch. But the second one,
not an overthrow, it was like the perfect pass.
Just unbelievable. Put it right there for him, and it was great to see him come.
And then Napier with a great catch. Napier just continues to develop in front of our eyes. We talked about, we were all big fans of Balin Brooks. But you can kind of see, like, Napier he's that guy as a young guy, man. So it's exciting to see him develop as well. And it's kind of nice having a young quarterback to receiver combo going right now.
Yeah, that connection is big, man. That connection is big. So right now I got to put in a shameless plug because he's been playing. He's balling right now. Our NIL deal with, of course, Danny O'Neil is available at sonsofmontezuma.com. You definitely want to support the young gunslinger. He's got various products. Of course, Danny Dimes. We got Ed O'Neil. We trust. Got to put it out there, man. Guys are performing, You got to put it out there even more so. But we got a lot of different NIL products with a lot of different guys. This year's been a little bit of an increase with us. Of course, Gabriel Placencia. He's been kicking balls and taking names. Had the go-ahead kick in the game. And, of course, Eric Butler. You just got served. Wyoming knows all about that.
Oh yeah, they got served a nice pick 6, man. That was such a great play.
And of course, plenty more koozies, these can coolers for the next tailgate. You guys got to get on these from Butler, from Brady Anderson, Cody Moon. We got Ross Masuli, Danny O'Neil, of course, Makai Shaw, Keenan Christian. Hopefully he gets back on the field very soon. Wintermeyer is coming, Wyatt Drager, and Placencia, a whole bunch of cans that you can show off at the next tailgate. So hey man, we're doing our part, and we appreciate your guys' support, not only for the players but for us here at Sons of Montezuma. I'm seeing in the chat, James, I think Danny O'Neil can handle 30 attempts or more now. Let's get into that because he was 16 to 27, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which is his first interception of the year.
First of his college career, basically. And what's funny, I think like 2 plays before that, I said, man, I can't believe he hasn't thrown an interception yet. He might, I don't even know what it is, but he might approach the consecutive attempts was at an interception record at San Diego State. And 2 plays later, that pass happens, and it wasn't even a bad throw by him. Like I said earlier, it was just a deflected pass, and it happened to go right to the defender. But man, he's just so efficient. Like normally with the true freshmen, you don't want them throwing the ball that much. And we talked about it with Jack Hawley earlier in the season, and he was like, "Yeah, let it rip, let him throw the ball 50 times a game." And we kind of like, after we kind of looking at each other, like, I don't know about all that, man. He's a true freshman. Calm down, Jack. but Jack's got me sold, man. Jack was right. We got to make another shirt. Jack was right. 30 attempts. I'm ready for 40 attempts, man. I'm ready to just let him rip. Let him rip it down the field. And I think that'll open up the running game as well. Once they get a little more afraid of the passing game, I think that'll spread things out and open things up. So I'm all for it, man. Just even if we lose the game because of it, I think he's ready for it.
It's funny, right? Because you usually think it's the opposite way, where you want to get the ball running to open up the pass. But this may be that type of situation, man. It may be it. It may be it.
Yeah, Mr. Butler, I think I did jinx him. Throw his comment. I will own that one. I shouldn't have opened my mouth until the game was over.
Oh boy. Well, I will tell you this, man. Looking at the game and looking at the previous game against Hawaii, on first down, we're actually throwing the ball more often on first down. So I know that was something that I've heard out there amongst fans, right? Man, I wish they would be, less predictable running the ball, but actually they've been passing the ball on first down more often than not. But in this game, we saw one thing, man. When Marquez Cooper got spelled for a couple carries in that third quarter. And that was something we hadn't really seen much of this whole season. And it wasn't who I was expecting to go out there. It was kind of interesting. But Cam Davis got some run, and that was cool to see. Now, where my mind goes is like, okay, was it like the elevation maybe affecting Cooper? Was Cooper getting a little banged up? Because he took several tough hits in that first half, especially. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, he delivered in that fourth quarter. 2 of his biggest runs of the day came in that fourth quarter when the team really needed it bad. And so he got close. 87 yards. He got close to the 100-yard mark. And he's actually leading the Mountain West if you take away Genty. If you take away Genty, who's just having an unbelievable Heisman-like season, Marquez Cooper he's leading the rest of the conference. So it's not like we're not getting production, but it just doesn't seem to be the consistent production that keeps defenses honest, at least from my novice opinion. James, you got anything else?
Yeah, I think we've had so many lineup changes on the offensive line. I think it's affecting their ability to be more consistent in the running game. And I think that's what we're seeing is, every once in a while they'll get it right and everybody will click and he'll break a good run. I think once hopefully everything settles, all these injuries in the offensive line, they'll stop having to shuffle people around. I think that'll really improve things in the running game. And also, like I said, in the meantime, they're doing a decent job protecting Dannyo'neil. So let's kind of, like I mentioned earlier, throw the ball, kind of set up and then pass. Because the way this offense is, you can kind of use the passing game with all the short passes and screens and things and RPOs and things like that. It's kind of like an extension of your running game. It's running the ball without actually handing the ball to your running back, because it's a safe pass and it gets 3-4 yards, and then if the receiver makes the play, it can be longer. So I'm definitely, I kind of feel like maybe they should start putting a little bit more weight behind the passing game to kind of free things up while the offensive line's getting things figured out. But yeah, dude, you can't say enough about Marquez Cooper, man. He's so tough. The workload he's had, we talked about it last week. It's crazy the way he just keeps getting the ball, and he's just as strong in the fourth quarter as he was in the first quarter, carrying the ball 30 times a game, man. I know we don't want him to have to deal with that. You kind of feel good about the other backs, but it's kind of hard to argue with his success. He gets things done, so I can see why that's part of the reason the coaches aren't pulling him out, is he's getting things done.
See, this is why we have James on the podcast, man, because he brings the common sense back. Because when you talk about the offensive line, I mean, that's something that it's easy to just look at the run production and say it's not this, it's not that. But the offensive line is, that the games are won in the trenches. If you don't have time to pass, if you don't have holes to run through, for the most part, it's going to be a long day. And the offensive line, yeah, I mean, the shuffling of the deck just got a little more difficult, as Kurt Kenny tweeted out earlier today. Dean Abdullah, senior offensive lineman who had been playing, he's decided to, I believe, forego this year as a redshirt year and likely to transfer out. I think that's part of the plan. So a little bit of a shot there. I know I've seen some things out there, people saying, "Oh, NIL," but this was definitely not an NIL situation where he was getting some playing time. It wasn't a situation where like you're being lured, by some dollars elsewhere. But it was a situation where I think he saw his time was probably going to diminish with guys getting healthy, and made that decision to play his senior year elsewhere. At least that's from what I'm reading from the situation. But nevertheless, I mean, it's another peg on the depth chart there on the offensive line, man.
Yeah, before the season, we talked about it, how I felt really good about the offensive line, the starting unit. I was just worried about depth. And man, we're finding out right now that they're stepping up. They're not playing as well as we would like them to play, but they're doing enough for us to win. Hopefully that continues. Hopefully these young guys that are getting kind of forced into the lineup, they can continue to develop and gel. Now that I think maybe we have a set lineup at least for 3 or 4 weeks, hopefully. It seems like there's been a lineup change every week at offensive line. So just hopefully this unit that played Saturday, they can kind of stick together the bye week, get another week of practice gelling, and they continue to kind of build as a unit going forward.
And that's the key, man. Just keep building, keep working hard every week. They got this week off as far as no game to prepare for specifically, so they could just work internally on what they do, tighten their reps up, get more reps, together as a unit. And man, 2 bye weeks. I'm not usually a fan of them, right? As fans, we want to keep this thing rolling. You want to watch. But for the team, man, I can only imagine, it's got to be such a benefit to get healthy. We already know the linebackers are dinged up. We know some of the secondary's been hurt, offensive line. I mean, all across the board. But I will tell you what, we're very excited for this team, and for one guy in particular I see joining us today. All you guys watching, you want to make sure you guys are sharing this live feed right now on your social media, because we are going to be introducing in right now a player, let's remind people exactly what happened there on Saturday before we bring in our guest.
It's chopping up on us.
Well, it sounds like people are hearing you okay on the feed.
Okay.
Everybody give us your feedback. Let us know if you guys can hear Eric Butler okay. We want to make sure we get his side of the story on that trip to Laramie, because that game was wild.
Very wild.
There we go. Yeah, man. How was the trip to Laramie? I don't think you had made. Yeah, you definitely had not made it before. So how was the travel going all the way up there?
Yeah, the travel wasn't. It was normal. Everything was normal with the travel, but that was my first time playing at elevation. Boy, was that different.
Did you feel it on the run back when you were done at all? Like,
yeah,
man, that was
the tank, get some oxygen, catch my breath. I needed to do that again later in the game also before
oh man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being real about that.
Yeah.
A lot of times people try to downplay it. They say, "Oh no, tough it out." But that's honest. I mean, I can't imagine. I probably wouldn't even last going from the 20 to the end zone. So, did they have you take those? What were they, like tablets? Coach was saying,
beat pills.
Yeah.
Pills. Yeah. I always take those anyway.
Yeah, man. I know we were struggling just walking up the stands, so I can't imagine being out there running around.
Yeah. Nah, it's no joke.
So I know.
You better tell George to get another West Coast idea, bro.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time, Eric?
I said, how did you guys like?
No, because he can fix him.
Like the atmosphere?
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring him another jersey.
You know, I think the weather made it a really good atmosphere. All their people came out. You know what I mean? I'm glad it wasn't played in November.
Yeah, playing in the snow. Have you had the chance to play in snow very often? Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he did you get that?
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, man. You dropped that on us again.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, though.
Yeah. Thank you for taking a few minutes, man. We appreciate it. We'll have to get you back some other time, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, take it easy, dude.
All right.
Later.
Thank you, B. Thank you. Yeah, well, apologize for that, guys. We'll try to have a sit down with EB maybe in person one of these times. I think we owe it to him now, man. We'll have to really get him on the show and get to know him. But nevertheless, a big weekend for him. He had been working. It seemed like every week he was getting closer and closer to having that big play. He almost had a return for a touchdown against Central Michigan, and so it was great to see that hard work pay off this past weekend. Got it in the end zone, and it was a big play. The team really needed it because offense wasn't doing too much at that point. And we'll have to touch back with him again.
Yeah, that's the wonders of doing it live, man. You never know what's gonna happen.
Oh boy. Well, I appreciate all your guys' support, everybody. Your supers on Helica, thank you so much. We appreciate you, of course. Of course, Mr. Butler, thank you guys for your support on what we do here. It's the middle of the season, James. The middle of the season. A bye week, then you got Washington State coming up on homecoming. We'll definitely be out there at the Yellow Lot, so you guys make sure to stop by. Hopefully have some fun going on. It's probably a Halloween game, right? I think it's like a Halloween that weekend or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, everybody's got to come in their costumes, man. I want to see a bunch of costumes at the tailgate.
I heard somebody wants to dress up like Minshew. What's his name?
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew. Washington State quarterback, right? Washington State quarterback from back in the days. And Fiend's gonna have to be like a zombie Danny O'Neil with the mullet and like, you know, the zombie look on your face or something like that. So we'll have some fun with that. James, let's look at this team really quick before we go any further. We're at the halfway point, man. What kind of grades would you give? Sometimes I kind of hate doing these type of things because it's like, okay, they're players, right? And every position group is a little different, the battles that they got to go through. But from our perch, you know what I mean? How are we looking at this team and their performance up to this point? What would you want to start off at, man? Offense, defense?
Man, for me, it's kind of hard to grade each unit because things have gone on and there's like a sliding scale, like there's a bell curve for different units because I got a bunch of young guys or things of that nature. So I'll just say the team overall as a whole, I would give it like a C plus, B minus. You know, they're right around. They've shown glimpses of being good, but they've shown glimpses of being good. But I think, you know, obviously they're 3-3, and that's a C average pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So like something like a C plus because, you know, they've had a lot of injuries and had some bad breaks, things of that nature. So that's kind of where I'm leaning right now, just as an overall team grade. If you want to go position by position, like I said, it's kind of tough because, like, you know, we've all talked about how great Danny O'Neil has been as a true freshman, but, you know, the team is still 3-3 and he doesn't have crazy numbers. So it's hard for me to give an individual grade for each unit.
Yeah, I think it's more of you're seeing the improvement, you're seeing the progression in the positions despite injuries, despite all that stuff. You know, I think with Coach Lewis, you know, sometimes there might be a method to his madness that us as fans may not always understand or get, right? You want to see certain things happen in the game, not realizing he's trying to set his standard. He's trying to develop a program, build a program, or mold the program into what he wants, regardless of the heat he may take. You know, if you don't win a game like Central Michigan game, right? He's gonna call it his way, and for us as fans, it's easy to judge that, right? I mean, hey, I'll be the first one to tell you should have been more aggressive against Central Michigan in that final couple drives, right? But at the end of the day, he's gonna, whether it's maybe protect or just, you know, go with what he feels the team can handle or is what they've done in practice. You know, a lot of those things, it's tough to judge and to give a grade on something that, you know, the coach is coming from a totally different mindset and perspective. So I think a C is probably right. 3-3. That's about as clear cut as you can get. I mean, what do we look at in the next half of the season? Will that grade, you know, will they improve on that grade? Or, you know, it's gonna be a tough run. I mean, you got Boise on the road, you got UNLV on the road. I mean, easily those two. Mountain West is a little top heavy this year. I think everybody can see those two teams are pretty much handling everybody. We don't play Fresno this year, so that's kind of a miss. Don't play Nevada this year. We got New Mexico, which I've seen some people not really thinking we could beat them this year, which is kind of odd to me. I'm feeling good, but it's still a pretty tough go out of it, especially when you got Washington State, which is at home, but they're always going to be formidable. So I don't know, man. C may be exactly where we end up at the end of the season. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
You know, man, if we C is 6-6 in a bowl game, I'll be happy with that. You know, we kind of talked about before the season started what were our expectations, and I was hoping for a bowl game. I think that, to me, it was like the realistic goal, and I think that goal is still in play. Definitely, we have the hardest part of our schedule coming up, but I you know, this team continues to improve. I don't go into any game thinking they don't have a chance. So we'll see how it goes, and you know, crazy things happen on the football field, man. You've got a young team in some spots, and they can really. All it takes is just one game, and a player can just blossom. Like, you know, we saw Trey White this year. He didn't do much the first couple of games, and all of a sudden he blossomed. So that could happen at quarterback. It could happen at receiver. The offensive line could gel over the bye week in a couple games. So I don't think the remainder of the season is tough, but it's not anything that it's, oh, we're definitely going to go 2-4 in the last 6 games or anything like that. So I think it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting to see, and we just got to enjoy the ride, man. The season's already kind of gone by pretty quickly, man. We're halfway through it already, so let's enjoy it while it's happening, man, and get out there to every game, especially the home games, man. Get out there and support these guys.
We got 3 home games and 3 road games coming up. Washington State, as we said, on homecoming, that's going to be a packed house. You know they're going to travel. Wazoo travels up the Wazoo. And, you know, homecoming is always a special tailgate, special event at the stadium. Then we go on the road to Boise State, which is going to be absolutely tough on a Friday night. So we're not making that trip. Wish I could. I haven't been on the Blue yet. But on a Friday, that's a little tough for travel-wise. Then we come back home against New Mexico. I think that's going to be a big game if we want to make a bowl game. That's going to really be a deciding factor, I think. Then at UNLV, we'll be there November 18th for sure. And then at Utah State at the end of November. That may be a tough weather game. So we'll definitely have our work cut out for us. And then you wind things up at home against Air Force, who is just absolutely atrocious. They are a shell of themselves for some reason. But you never know. At the end of the year, those Air Force, they may be in a similar situation where they're improving all year long and you know, getting to a point where they finally get what they want dialed down. So we'll have to see. 3-3. 3 at home, 3 on the road. 3 challenging and 3 winnable games. That's kind of the way things are shaking out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this defense against Genty, man. That's going to be fun to watch.
Well, right now is the time to get healthy. Linebackers, time to get healthy.
let's get Latuli back. Let's get the other guys back. Let's see how our full strength defense does against that guy. It's going to be fun to watch. We'll have to do a watch party for that one, right? On a Friday night?
Ooh, on a Friday. We'll see. We'll see. Dude, I might be in Vegas watching that game, man. I'll tell you that. Oh, boy. Well, we do have a bye week coming up, guys, and things are going to start making a little bit of a transition. We're in between. Basketball season is on the heels of beginning, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully get the Kiss the Rings guys together pretty soon and do a preview article that's coming out. Fiend's been working hard on that, and talk some hoops, man, because this team is young. And this transition, this in-between time between football and basketball is always special. It's a great time of the year to get out and support your Aztecs. And I'm looking forward to the men's and women's games. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm really looking forward to it. So,
yeah, man, I'm stoked for this young basketball team, man. I'm excited to see we got a lot of new parts. I'm excited to be. I always trust in Coach Detcher, man. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I enjoy watching the games. And I'm excited about some of these young guys that are going to need to play, man. I'm not much of a basketball guy, like I said, but I'd heard the name Pharaoh Compton before, kind of like popping up in my Twitter feed of prep basketball, talking about how great of a player he was. So I'm excited to see guys like that and the other young guys, Magoon and guys like that. So yeah, man, I'm stoked to see this young team and see how they develop. And I always trust Coach Dutcher to develop well.
Oh yeah. All right, James. Well, how you feeling, man? I think we're gonna take this bye week, enjoy ourselves. Hopefully the team gets healthy. Hopefully they can get some more things down, and this offense can open it up a little bit, as we were saying. Let Danny and O'Neil we trust. So let's get this offense going and through the air a little bit more. I think everybody can agree with that, right?
Let Danny rip.
Let him cook. Let him rip. Hey man, we haven't had this throwing caliber, I think, in really the quarterback room for a little while. So little new for us around here in these parts. We gotta get it going. I want to thank you guys all for joining today, despite the hiccups and the technical difficulties. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. The audio version will be available first thing in the morning, so check that out on Spotify, iTunes, what is it? iHeart, Link, tune in, all that good stuff. We'll have it out there for you for you guys to share. And of course, check out sonsofmontezuma.com for all of our NIL and other creative items. You can save 10% with promo code MONTY at checkout. And hopefully we'll have some more Manscaped stuff coming on in the near future. You guys can still get that 20% off. Sons 20. Get that Manscaped deal. James?
Let's do it, man. Let's take the week off. Everybody get recharged and come out crazy for that homecoming game against Washington State.
All right, sounds good to me. Everybody, you have a great evening. And, well, I don't know what you're going to do with yourself without Aztec Sports this week, but, make sure you check out all of our episodes. Of course, before I let you guys go, we had the chance to interview the commentator the Ejos had a chance to interview the commentator, Tony Alvarez. He was the Spanish commentator for the Hawaii game, the first ever Spanish broadcast. We'll be releasing that tomorrow evening, so make sure you guys check that out for all you Spanish speakers. If you know some, spread the word, and hopefully that becomes a thing, man. Hopefully that becomes a thing. En Español, Aztecs en Español. Órale. All right, everybody, have a great night. Until next time, sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.